Give her a round of applause.
You guys, you're making me nervous. Hello, how are you? Ladies, you're looking gorgeous tonight. Oh, Banang, I can't believe this. I'm here. I want to give credit to my designer tonight. Kasozi, you've done a wonderful job. Here, I'm here to... The English, all of you, you're so shocked. Yeah, I'm here to announce the most stylish male artist of the year.
Morning. Netflix. Netflix. Mama tifaya ande kamera mkwano.
Socialites are ladies known to dress up with class and grace all parties and social events in town with an aura to be seen. But do you ever wonder where they get the money that they so effortlessly throw around? We all know that money is hard to come by, and once it does, one wants to hold on to it, especially if it was hard-earned. Today we bring you the story of Bad Black, a young lady who graced Ugandan streets with bundles of money she so effortlessly threw around while she enjoyed her 11 minutes of fame as a socialite. Welcome and welcome back to Tavern Crime Chronicles. Here we explore mysterious, chilling, solved and unsolved cases, approaching them with empathy and extensive research. If you have the nerve for fascination stories, this is your channel. So, grab a drink and hydrate while I take you through the disconcerting, strange story of an illiterate but rather cunning woman who swindled millions of dollars from her European lover. Nobody knew from where she burst onto the social scene. Few even knew her real name, but for about 2 years she found fame and fortune by throwing money around. She was the definition of new money, as she sometimes misbehaved and paid off her victims to silence them. This is the story of Shanita Namuyimbwa, commonly known as Bad Black. Shanita Namuyimbwa, whose real name is Latifa Nalukenge, was born on December 27, 1989, in Zana, Uganda, along the Kampala-Entebbe Road. She attended Midland Primary School in Kawempe, an eastern suburb of Kampala, the capital of Uganda. She would later join secondary school and only go up to Senior 2. This was because school fees was hard to come by, and Shanita too was finding school difficult as she always saw stars while the teachers were explaining on the blackboard. Her inability to comprehend common English is something she takes pride in and openly talks about today.
It's lack of education. Jemba demblamu agreement nali sijitegedde, so I apologize publicly. I apologize publicly. Munsonyiwe nali sitegedde agreement.
Well, Shanita dropped out of school and began selling various small goods along Kampala streets to make ends meet. One day in 2005, a friend told her that she wanted to teach her how to make real money, and just like that, Shanita was introduced into the world of prostitution at a tender age of 16 years. On the streets, she adopted the name Bad Black, and that's how we shall refer to her in this case. Every day as light turned into darkness, the two friends joined other sex workers on the streets to call out and invite customers. As time went on, they learned that it was easier and more profitable to find the clients at their hangout spaces, as such men had money and were willing to pay a lump sum for a good time. Their preferred place of business was Rock Gardens, Speak Hotel Kampala, an area known to have many sex workers even along the streets. According to Bad Black, she earned about US $200 a day, selling to just 3 customers, which was really good money for a prostitute, and this she made from the Caucasian men, whom she preferred because, well, they had the dollars and paid well. In June 2009, Bad Black, now about 19 years, hit the jackpot when she met a one David Greenhalgh. He was enjoying the breeze at the Speak Hotel's Rock Gardens when Shanita approached him after having analyzed that he did not have company. The two struck up a conversation as they shared drinks together, bargained on the price for her services, and slept together. David must have taken a liking into her because they exchanged phone numbers and the two started a friendly relationship. But one may ask, who is David Greenhalgh? David was born in 1958 in Britain, but unfortunately not much is known about his childhood and family background, as he chooses to keep his family affairs a secret. The now 66-year-old was married to Susan in Sussex and is a father of 2, owning a family home in Burgess Hill, West Sussex. As to whether he is still married, we have no idea, as he has had different love interests in African women and is not shy to say it or flaunt them in public. David Greenhalgh is a businessman and for a long time has invested in different ventures across Africa, just like any other businessman, hungry to multiply his millions. If it makes money, he is in for it. Greenhalgh is a British aviation expert and thus runs an aviation consultancy firm. He also ventured into football in a bid to develop Uganda's football talent. This was in a project brought to his table by a one Kabafunzaki, and he became a patron and director of KGS, Kigezi Good Samaritan Football Club. He was, however, recently arrested in Britain and accused of engaging in illegal arms dealing by brokering sales of military equipment to war-torn countries such as Syria, Libya, and Sudan. He is charged with 12 counts of breaching arms embargoes with sales linked to some of the bloodiest conflicts. However, the case in court, and we shall not delve so much into it. Back to Bad Black and David, the two were seemingly in love, and he was not afraid to show his young lover around as they hoped from hotel to bar, painting the country red. She sure did know how to spend his money, and the two took trips to Nairobi and Dubai arm in arm as they partied hard. Their relationship grew from just the womanly need to a commercial involvement, and the two lovers sought to do business together. David opened an account for Bad Black in Ugandan currency in US dollars. He went ahead and got her a house in Munyonyo, an expensive neighborhood near Kampala on the north shore of Lake Victoria. He often traveled back to UK, but while he was in Uganda, Munyonyo was his home with his lover. He asked her to come up with a business idea, which he would finance, and Bad Black was so quick to grab the golden opportunity. She sought help from her Ugandan young lover, MZUNGU, who said that real estate would be a good business venture. Although David considered Bad Black as his girlfriend or even fiancée as was reported, Black had not changed from the street woman she was and still entertained other men. Among them was Medi, whom she loved. Between the two, this was an opportunity to defraud this MZUNGU tycoon and become millionaires. With the help of friends, they came up with a good business proposal which they sent to David, and he approved. The company, Davishan Development Uganda Limited, was born, of which David owned 75% and Shanita 25%. If you look closely, Davishan is actually an acronym for David and Shanita. While still in the United Kingdom, David wired money onto the company account in which both were signatories. It is said that he wired more than $4 million. While David deposited money on one end, Shanita siphoned it out of the account and spent it lavishly with her young boyfriend Medi, and also deposited some of it on his account. The two had more money than they knew how to spend, and foolishly they wasted it on buying a fleet of fancy cars for themselves and their friends, throwing parties and even throwing cash bills at people who dared stand in her way to silence them after stepping on their toes. Local tabloids lapped her up and created a larger-than-life picture of her. David Greenhalgh got wind of the story about the new billionaires around town before he could realize that his money was not being used for the intended purpose. He flew back into the country and demanded proof of the investments he had been sending money for. Suddenly, the phenomenon that had become Bad Black started crumbling. This whole time, Bad Black was pregnant for David while fooling around with her young boyfriend Medi. David says he could have forgiven her for squandering and misusing company funds, but the fact that she was spending it on her new boy toy was what hurt the most. He cared less that she was carrying his baby and wanted them to pay for their crime, especially Medi. Well, a case was opened in the Anti-Corruption Division of the Supreme Court by Justice Catherine Bamuch-Mirer, and the hearing began in February 2012. By now, Shanita had given birth to David's baby and was nursing, but she had to attend court. Of course, the hearing was not short of drama, as Bad Black pleaded not guilty and was brazenly unrepentant because, according to her, the money was given to her as a gift from her boyfriend who loved her so much. Medi also feigned ignorance of knowing the source of the money, as he was just partying with his girlfriend, Bad Black. The case was not short of controversies, as the crowds cheered Shanita on for spending the MZUNGU's money. The people in their reactions were wondering how a mature man in his late 50s who has been doing business for a while could trust a huge sum of money with an illiterate, inexperienced girl who could hardly express herself fluently in English. 11 billion Ugandan shillings was quite a huge amount of money, and the masses commented that David had thrown his pearls to the swine, thus he had no case. The crowds regretted that if only she had used part of the money to construct a hospital and write her name in brick. Bad Black thought the case would just die a natural death, and she would buy herself out of trouble. I mean, she had all the millions at her disposal. She unintentionally confessed in court that she bribed the police investigators with 50 million Ugandan shillings so that she would not be arrested and prosecuted. The case went on anyway, with Bad Black revealing gory details of their sex encounters, which she volunteered to court with the hope that it would buy her a get-out-of-jail-free card for having been sexually violated. 9 witnesses testified and the court ruled against them. Judge Catherine mentioned that the money they spent belonged to Davison as a company, and thus could not be referred to as a gift from a boyfriend. Bad Black was served with a sentence of 4 years for stealing Greenhalgh's money, while Mehdi was served with 18 months imprisonment for conniving to steal company funds. David was blamed for not having done due diligence and background research on the person he was partnering with to do business. She was not educated and did not have the slightest knowledge on how to make a business proposal, let alone execute it. She could have at least hired experts to run the business. But no, her naive brain couldn't fathom such big plans, and they sent it all down the drain. To sum this story up, Bad Black is now out of jail after serving 4 years in Luzira Maximum Prison and was released on March 14, 2016. But she did not pay back a dime of the money they swindled, and neither was anything confiscated. She is of course not short of her usual drama, as she tries her best to be a social media gimmick and influencer. Bad Black is a mother of 4 children, all from different fathers, which doesn't come as a surprise considering her background and lack of guidance. She, however, tries her best to support them and has big dreams for the future, which don't include prison, because according to her, it still haunts her till today. Well, what do you think about today's case? Should David have trusted his lover with a large sum of cash without a board of trustees? If you were Bad Black, what would you have done with the money? Kindly share your comments down below, and I will see you on the next one.